Okay, I guess we will start. Welcome everyone who is joining us today for this unique opportunity that we have today. We will be talking with one of our admission committee members today, and I will introduce her shortly. My name is Eileen, and I am the program manager, and I will be leading the session today. And joining me today is Eileen Dong, who is the Associate Director of the program. Excuse me. Who is the Associate Director of the program. Eileen has been with the program since 2016, and she moved up from different positions. So she did start with the program manager role, so she knows the program from A to Z, and she is the perfect person to answer our questions today. In addition to that, she also completed her MBA and her management of management analytics with Smith. So she is we call her double alumni square. That she also can talk about doing a degree with Smith. So this is tremendous help that he is joining us today to answer the question. So before the question, we did ask our participants to send in the questions, and we've organized them the way that it will be easier to follow the conversation. We also included some visual materials, so it is a little bit more interactive. If you have any questions during the session, feel free to send them in using the chat function or Q&A function, and we will try to cover them either during the conversation or right after the session. Welcome, Eileen, and thank you for joining us today. I do want to remind you to unmute yourself so we don't have any hiccups, but we will start with the first question is a kind of a roll into the conversation. So it's a little bit a different program, and can you explain the partnership between Queens and Renmin University?
All right, thank you, Alina, and welcome everyone joining us today. As Alina introduced myself, I am happy to answer any question from you today if you have not provided any question to us earlier. Let's get on to the first one. Can you explain the partnership between the two universities? Yes, of course. Let's move on to the next slide and have a general look of this partnership. So what does this partnership mean? First of all, it means that this program is being delivered by both universities. So we have outstanding faculty from both Renmin and Queens University, and students will have their classes on the campus of Renmin University in Beijing. And it is a legal proofed, MOE proofed partnership and program. You should be able to find the program's approval information, extension information on the MOE's website. And the last point is that students after graduation, you will receive a Master of Finance degree from Queens University, as well as a completion certificate from Renmin University. And we can show you some samples.
Yeah, you kind of rolled into our next question, because a lot of candidates ask, will they receive degrees from both Queens and Renmin? Can you just explain a little bit in details what the degree and a certificate that you mentioned mean exactly?
Yes, of course. Indeed, this is a very common question. A lot of our applicants would ask us, is this a double degree program? Do I receive both degrees, or which kind of degree do I receive after I complete this program? As you can see from this page, that students will receive the Master of Finance degree. This is the degree from Queens University only. As you can see on the left side of the screen. On the other side of the screen is the completion certificate from Renmin University. It is not the degree, however, it does prove you that the legal approved status of this program, as well as the fact that you have done your study in Renmin University with some of Renmin's faculty. And Queens University certificate, as you can see here, our students at the beginning of the program starts, our colleague at MFin University will register students' information into the MOE's system that helps our graduates when they receive this certificate from Queens to easily get approval from MOE's website. As you can see from the next page, there will be a sample from the MOE's website shows you that it is a legal equivalent master degree as from other universities in China.
I think I removed that, but if people are interested in how it looks, how the MOE verification looks, send us an email and we will send you a sample. It's just a paper that proves, for some of the employers, they just ask for that verification. But let's move to the next question. So this is also, I think all of our questions are the typical questions that candidates ask, but this also I hear a lot is, can I work or do an internship while attending MFin Beijing?
Yeah, it's a great question. Actually, a lot of our applicants and our students, they do have a plan to start working even before the program starts, between the time they finish their undergrad university study and the time when they start the program. So totally, as you can see from here, of course you can. The answer is that yes, you can start working either an internship or a full-time job, because all of our classes are only delivered over the weekend. So from Monday to Friday, students can totally choose to start a full-time job. However, we do advise our students that do not start with a very demanding job, because MFin Beijing is also a very intense program. You will have a lot of homework, you will have a lot of meetings with your team to work on some team assignments. So the answer is yes, but do not start a very demanding job right away.
Okay, so let's move on and probably a little bit more in details about the program. What is the course curriculum and what elective courses are offered?
Yeah, of course, students are very interested in what exact financial knowledge and skills they are going to gain throughout the program. We do offer 10 courses throughout this whole year. The program starts by the end of August or at the beginning of September every year. So from there until the end of the first term before the Chinese New Year starts. Normally it's February. So before February, the first 5 months, students will have 5 courses in the first term. And after Chinese New Year, typically starting in March, you will have the next 5 courses. We call it second term. We have listed the 10 courses that we are currently offering to our current cohorts. As you can see here, typically first semester, you will have generally more basic, and second term, you will have more advanced courses. Every month, typically every month, you will finish 1 course and then you will start the next course. So 5 courses in the first semester, and after Chinese New Year break in February, 5 other courses in the second semester.
So we do have a next slide and I will kind of lead you to that. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the faculty, the people actually teaching the courses?
Yes, of course. For students who are really very interested in the curriculum, I do recommend them to look into our faculty team as well, because this would be the best way to understand what exact knowledge you're going to gain throughout the program. You would want to know the people who are teaching those courses. On this page, you can find all of the faculty that has been delivering MFin Beijing course or workshop or a speaker session to the program. You can see faculty from Queens University. There is also faculty from MFin University on the second row. The first one, Dr. Wei Wan, he is also the program director of MFin Beijing, and Dr. Meng Miao on the second row is from Renmin University. He is the academic director of the program. So we have both academic directors teaching the program, also make sure that we do maintain a very high quality of faculty team as well as the teaching experience.
Great. So moving on to the next question. Can you explain the MBA MFin option? What does that mean and what students can expect from that? And I guess you did also do 2 degrees with Smith, so MBA and MMA. So if you can just a little bit cover your personal experience as well, that would be great.
Yes, of course. I'm happy to share my own experience. If anyone here today, you want to know specifically some experience from my study at Smith with either of the 2 programs, I'm happy to share with you later on as well. Talking about the MBA MFin option, which means students can complete those 2 programs while they have some course credits transferred from the first program into the second program. Giving you an example from my experience is that I've completed my full-time MBA program at Smith in 2014, and then started my MMA study with Smith a few years later. So when I was doing my MBA program, I completed 3 courses that were still offered by MMA. Then I directly skipped the same 3 courses, transferred credits from my MBA study into the MMA study, and my tuition was reduced. I didn't have to spend time to complete the 3 courses again. So back to the MBA and MFin option. If you choose to finish MFin first and then complete your MBA second, then you can find if the MBA program you are doing later is still offering some courses you have done with your MFin program. By that time, you will have to talk to your program management team from the MBA program. And if they do offer the same courses, then you can do exactly what I have done to transfer credits into your MBA program study and reduce your learning time and tuition. Another question related to this question is that, do I get directly enrolled into the MBA program? The answer is no, because applicants to any specific program, you will have to meet their different admission requirements. One good example is that MFin Beijing here, we do not require full-time work experience. However, full-time MBA as well as other MBA programs at Smith, we would really like students, applicants to show that they have minimal 2 years full-time work experience. So you will have to meet the admissions requirements of the later program as well.
Great. So the next question we have is also related to a different program. So what are the differences between MFin Beijing and MFin Toronto? Because we do have the 2 different programs in different locations.
Yeah, so very obvious difference you can tell from the name is that MFin Beijing obviously is being offered in Beijing, China, and MFin Toronto is being delivered in Toronto. So students from MFin Toronto program, you will go to classes in Toronto at Smith Toronto facility. MFin Beijing, you will go to Renmin University, have your classes on the campus of Renmin University in Beijing, China. The other difference is that MFin Beijing, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, does not require full-time work experience to meet admission requirements. However, MFin Toronto does require minimal 2 years work experience. Another difference is that we kind of covered a little bit when we were talking about partnership between the 2 universities, is that MFin Beijing has faculty from 2 universities. Half from Queens University and the other half, 5 courses are being taught by Renmin University, which means that through the MFin Beijing program, you can learn not only the practices and regulations from the North American financial markets, but also Asian markets. However, MFin Toronto mostly they have working professionals or teaching faculty from Queen's University, Smith School of Business to teach. Some other differences are MFin Beijing obviously will provide a strong network of alumni networking opportunity for our students who are really looking for exploring the job market, exploring the financial markets in China. However, MFin Toronto kind of provides a lot of opportunities in here, Canada, Toronto mostly. So if you are somebody who really want to experience the work environment, the work culture, and to find out if it is a good fit for you to return to China or explore the China's market, MFin Beijing would definitely be a better choice compared to MFin Toronto. However, if you do not have enough full-time work experience, maybe you want to wait to earn some experience before you apply to MFin Toronto.
Great. And I think the next one is a little bit of a follow-up question. So if I admitted to a program, can I transfer from MFin Beijing to MFin Toronto?
Yes, indeed, it is a follow-up question, and the short answer is no, unfortunately. Why is that? Mostly because we do have different admission requirements, because our target audience is different group of people, and MFin Beijing is aims to help mostly international Chinese students here in Canada to help them find an easier transition back to China, or some working professionals here in Canada, they want to explore the job market in China. It would bring a very easy, will help them to bridge their transition from Canada to China. However, because most of the time, MFin Beijing candidates do not have enough full-time work experience in the financial market, it does not matter where you have been worked. If you do not have minimal 2 years work experience in finance, it is very likely you would not be able to meet the admission requirements from MFin Toronto. That's the most cases we have seen, but we do have candidates who have work experience. Then if that's the case, you might be able to meet the admission requirements from MFin Toronto. However, it's not an automatic transfer. You will still have to submit your application to the other program and go through the similar procedure that you're applying to MFin Beijing.
Great. So the next question we have, who is the ideal candidate for the program? And I hear that question a lot when I talk or I meet the candidates.
Yeah, this is a great question. Of course, as an applicant, you would want to know what kind of candidate profile we're looking for. So first of all, academic records are very important to us. We would want to see that you are coming from a business or finance, economic, statistics, these related fields background. We would also want to see you have completed your CFA at least level 1 exam. As you can see here, we have a class profile. The CFA profile, typically every year we have above 60%, sometimes as you can see current class, close to 70% of the class passed CFA level 1, and sometimes they passed both level or 3 levels. CFA is definitely a very strong proof that you have gained some basic finance, sometimes advanced finance, depends on your level, knowledge and skills. Other than that, your undergrad grades are also important. If you are from a finance, business related background, you may provide CFA or GMAT results. And here, let's have another look of the class profile. Is that this class is a little bit smaller than we expected. The full class would be 40 students. The current class is 34 students because we did have some Canadian students who were not able to go to China. For the current recruiting class, we're aiming to have a full class, which is 40 students. Typically, the class average age is 25 years old because we do not require full-time work experience. That means every year, half of the class, they are direct graduates from undergrad study. So they are from 13 different undergrad universities, mostly they're from the Canadian universities. Every year we have about half male, female students. Well, this year we have a little bit more female students than male students.
Okay, so we'll move on. And where do MFin Beijing graduates work? So this is also a lot of questions that you can hear, and that's something that a lot of people are interested. So after this program, where they can expect a job?
Yeah, similar to the last question. You want to understand what kind of candidates we're looking for because you want to see if you're a good match. You want to understand, you want to know where our graduates have landed in their careers, so you can reflect back to yourself. Maybe those places will be your career space as well. So here is a very is a shortcut of our current alumni from the very first year, class 2015, to the current class where they are working. And as you can see here, we do have some students after they graduated, finished all the classes, they returned to Canada and started working in these Canadian banking, investments, companies or financial services companies or consulting companies in Canada. However, most of our graduates, they chose to stay in China. And you can see that a lot of them are working in the banks in China. There are also international banks in China as well. And other than that, you can see a lot of security companies, investment companies, different capital. There is PCVE, venture equity, and there are also some famous firms in China, international famous firms in Canada, as well as some famous firms in China, for example, Tencent, Huawei. Those are people who are working in the financial department. So I always tell our applicants and our students is that if you do have a target company that is a big enough firm, I believe that we can find at least one alumnus or student working in that firm, so we can connect you with them to understand, to learn a little bit more about practices in that firm. Because every year we have 120 graduates from this program. So the reputation of the program, reputation of our graduates is really growing.
Great. So our next question would be, what career services and support does the program provide to the students to basically land the job in those companies?
Yes, so that's a question I also received a lot. Students really want to know how they can reach there, as we described earlier, how they can find those jobs in these financial firms. So first of all, we have a career advancement center from Smith School of Business. MFin Beijing students also have the access to the career services provided by the CAC Center. As you can see here, you will have the chance to have one-on-one coaching sessions with your coach, so they can work on how to build your cover letter, how to build your resume, sometimes how to build your LinkedIn profile, and how to network with other people, how to expand your professional network. If you have seen some alumnus at some events, how do you reach out? How do you follow up? How do you remind them to remember you when they have a right opportunity for you? Things like that. Anything related to your career development, you can talk about with your career coach. Besides that, we have plenty of online resources, workshop, webinar, pre-recorded sessions. So we also have Smith job sites, Quest. From there, you can find all these resources. You can also find some job opportunities. Tutorials similar like these other online resources, you can just go through and work on different career-related subjects. And from time to time, we'll invite our career coach and our alumni, sometimes the working professional from the field, to give our students some focused webinar or workshop. And you can, from there, build your connection, ask questions about the field. So here you can see Paulina is our career coach for the MFin Beijing students. She will help you to work on sometimes your career strategy. How do you make a plan for your long-time career development? She can help you to explore different new opportunities through different channels, and then identify your challenges, how you overcome your challenges. Sometimes she can help you to actually build an action plan, as I described earlier, how to follow up, how to expand your network, things like that. Here's another part of our career services, because some of the students may ask, our career coach will be based in Canada, so how do I get to know the Chinese job market? Because if you do have some Chinese background, culture background, you would understand that there will be some key differences between the job seeking channels, your resume editing, and sometimes cover letter as well. That is why we are providing our MFin Beijing students career services from those local services providers. As you can see, we have two, Xiaozao and Value Cube. They are professionals in the field. They understand what are the key steps, different procedures between Canada and China, especially as someone who's fresh for the career markets. Then they will guide you and teach you how to build your resume and cover letter, what is the skills and techniques to interact with HR and different companies. So they are great help. They have been great help for our students. From time to time, we also provide one-on-one coaching. They have a workshop and webinar for our students to attend as well. Sometimes they also provide internship opportunities. And on the other side of the screen, you can see Smith Connect. It's another platform provided by the Smith. It's like an internal LinkedIn platform. From there, you will find a lot of Smith alumni, not only from MFin Beijing program, not only from the Master of Finance programs, but also from other programs like MBA programs, Master in International Business, Commerce, and other graduate programs from Smith. So for students who are considering returning to Canada at some point in the future, Smith Connect will be a great platform for you to maintain your relationship and expand them when you are in China.
Great. So the next question is a little bit of a different resource or club that I want to talk about. So some of the students might know what it is, some people might not. So for someone who's very interested in Qaff, and how can they join Qaff team? Can you talk a little bit more about what is Qaff and what is the procedure to join?
Yes, of course. So first of all, let's move on to the next slides and see what is the full name of Qaff. So Qaff is Queens University Alternative Assets Fund, fully run by students. And we have a separate Qaff management team in Beijing. All of the team members are from MFin Beijing program. So MFin Qaff Beijing team has investment fund of 50,000 Canadian dollars that they can use to make investment decisions in the China's market. Here is an overview of the Qaff, all of the Qaff team information. There is a growth of capital and fund overview. If you are interested, you can have a deeper overview from their website. We have listed their website here on the bottom of the slide, or you can Google Smith Qaff, you will get to their website. Oh, and how do students join Qaff? So every year, the previous class year Qaff Beijing team will pick the next year's Qaff management team members. It's very similar to a job application. The new class students who are interested in joining the management team of Qaff Beijing will submit their application to the last year management team. Once the new team is confirmed, Then the new management team will manage the application and selection of the analyst roles of the Qaff team. So it's very straightforward, very similar to a job application. You will be selected by last year, and then analysts will be selected by the new management team.
Great. So moving on, and are there any networking opportunities with the program? You mentioned it a little bit with the coaching, but is there an actual place where they can use those skills?
Yeah, absolutely. As the program management office, we do our best to provide as many events as we can to our students so they can interact with our alumni. They can get to know students from the other section, which is executive section. We can talk more later. And they can also get a chance to know students and alumni from Renmin University. Here we have some photos from our past events. You can see we had students and alumni had events in the Embassy of Canada in Beijing. And we also invited guest lecturer. The last photo you can see is our guest lecturer, who's also very, very famous in the field. Do you remember his name, Helena?
His name is David Chin, and I think he holds the post at UBS. So if you Google David Chin, I think he's the top Asian market expert. So he's very famous in the field.
Yes, David Chin from UBS Asian market. And we also have some photos here that's from the Smith Business Club, usually organize a lot of events to help our students to get to know our alumni and also to maintain the relationship among the alumni. Every year we have some big events as well. If you are interested, you can also follow up the WeChat official account of Smith Business Club China. Yeah, as I mentioned, executive section, what is it? What is it different from the international section we're talking about here today? So the very straightforward difference is that international section, we have young professionals. We do not require full-time work experience in finance. So as you can recall earlier about looking at the class profile, students are typically younger, around 25 years old. So they do not have a lot of experience in the work field. However, executive section, we have an admission requirement of minimal 7 years work experience in finance in China. So a lot of them are senior executive levels in the firm's financial sector or in the financial firms. From there, students from the international section will get the chance to connect with the very mature, seasoned working professionals in the financial industry in China. That's why we also encourage, we create a lot of events, opportunities to help our students to build connections with the executive students.
Great. And I think this is you mentioned already about the graduate.
Yeah, so we put two sections together. We have more than 100, sometimes 120 graduates every year. That means we have a really fast growing alumni network in finance. So the program's reputation is growing fast and stronger as well. We also encourage our students and applicants to connect with our working professional alumni, sometimes students as well, to help them start their career in China.
Great. So a little bit more about Renmin University. So will the students have access to the Renmin University facilities, like gym, cafeterias, etc.? Because as far as we know, it is a little bit of a restricted one.
Yeah, for now, because of the COVID impact, students do have restricted access to campus. However, prior to the COVID season, students did have full access through their campus student card to the library. As you can see here, the library is actually right next to the classroom building of MFin Beijing program. It's very convenient for our students, and students also have access to the gym. You will need your campus pass. Sometimes some facility is at cost. You'll need to put some money on your card. And also students have access to some events held on campus in these different buildings, as you can see here. And last, but also very, very important, is that our students also have access to the campus cafeteria. I've been there. I have also tried these the food from the Renmin cafeteria. They're amazing. It's definitely a great opportunity for you to experience university campus life in China.
Great. So let's move on to the application. So in order to be an MFin Beijing student, what do applicants need to do?
So application, everything happens online. You don't have to worry about in-person interaction. So you submit your application form online along with your resume and transcript. And then we will have application advisor to reach out to you based on the resume and your transcript. Your advisor will give you a list of documents that you need to finish your application. Once we have all the required files for your application, your advisor will schedule an interview for you. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's some other member from the admissions committee. Once the online interview is done, you may or may not have another last step to talk with one of our alumni. And from there, you can wait for about a week. Then you will hear from our admissions committee about your final result. Yeah, here is an overview of required files for your application. So online application includes your resume and transcript, and then on the right side of this table is the potential list your advisor may provide to you. Sometimes includes English test language, but if you are graduated from a Canadian university, then there's no English test required. And the second one is GMAT GRE, or sometimes GMAT GRE and CFA level 1 if you're not from a business background. Then online references and official transcript.
Great. So can you talk a little bit about the official transcript? Because sometimes there is a little bit misunderstanding for the students who are in the 4th year, but they cannot provide the full transcript. So how and can they have the interview before then?
Yeah, definitely. So for interview, you do not have to submit your official transcript, especially for students at the last year in university. You can wait until you have received your degree and then provide your official transcript to the program. As long as it's before the start of the program, then it's okay.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that thing because we also have a lot of questions about that piece. So, and eventually the question, can they still apply for the next cohort?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we're targeting to have a full class, which is 40 students. Currently, we still have 5 seats available. If you are interested in starting your study with the MFin Beijing program this year, we have a start date, which is August 26th. So deadline here you can see for Chinese citizen is 25th August. Well, unfortunately for non-Chinese citizens, if you're a Canadian citizen, then you have missed the admission of this year. You have to consider next year, which starts August, end of August or beginning of September next year. So for Chinese citizen, yes, if you are still interested in joining the program this year, please submit your application, or if you have submitted your application, to schedule some chat with your advisor to see what your next step looks like.
Great. And also moving to it's kind of a part of the application and the process to join the class. So what are the scholarships that are available for the program?
Yeah, we do offer entrance scholarship for our students. As long as you, as soon as you are accepted into the program, you are considered for the entrance scholarship. It's up to 5,000 Canadian dollars. So if you are eligible for entrance scholarship, you should be receiving both the scholarship letter as long as along with your offer letter. Besides that, we also have CLIC scholarship offered by the Chinese government for Canadian students. These have to be Canadian citizen students. There's a lot of financial and on-campus support for Canadian students through this program. And besides that, we also offer CFA student scholarship for students who are taking CFA exams throughout the program.
Great. I think that that are all of the questions that we had for today, but we will move on to the Q&A session in case I will give you some time for those of you who are joining us today to put your questions either in the chat or in the Q&A section. And you can use anonymous function under the Q&A if you would like to ask anonymously. But before we move on to the Q&A session, I just want to remind people that we do offer virtual one-on-one sessions with the admission staff. So talking with an advisor, either myself or my colleague. We also have the sessions available bilingually. So whatever is comfortable for you. We have a session in Chinese, we have a session in English. The sessions are updated regularly, so they are available throughout the year. So you just need to check the time, what is the next available day that works for you is out there. Also, besides this lecture, we have the webinars throughout the year. So most of them are available through our archive session, this archive section. So this section located just right under the virtual one-on-one section on our website. So you can see there's different panels with students, with faculty, there's panel discussion on specific topics. So those of you who are interested in the finance degree related topics, feel free to take advantage of this section as well. This is our media channel, so I will strongly suggest you to follow us on the WeChat. All of the updates about the program, sometimes even student success stories are posted there. So that is a great resource to kind of keep in touch and keep yourself updated on what is happening in the program. This is the last slide for us, but this is some of our contact information as well as the application group. If you are not part of application group on the WeChat, strongly suggest you to join. If you are already in the group, you don't need to join again, but me, myself, Eileen, my colleague also is there. If you have a quick question, you can either reach out to us directly or just send a message inside the group. So I will keep this slide on, so those of you who want to join the group can join, and if you need our contact information, feel free to keep a memo, take a picture, do a screenshot, whatever works for you. So we will move on to the question. So, and I can see there's one question, Eileen. So what is the main difference between MFin and CFA curriculum? The courses shown seems to overlap a lot with CFA. And actually, this is also a question that we receive a lot. So Eileen, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, it's a great question. You can see from the curriculum, there is a lot of overlap between the MFin curriculum and the CFA curriculum. That's a good thing in the sense of the MFin Beijing program will actually help you to prepare for advanced level of CFA exams. However, the Master of Finance Beijing program does not only teach you the CFA exam content. It's not a prep program for the CFA exam. However, it's more related to the working field. Throughout the courses, you will learn more real world practices. You will learn from your teaching faculties industrial experience, sometimes guest speakers experience. So it's more hands-on learning experience compared to the CFA curriculum. Sometimes you might see it's the same topic. However, the learning method and the learning content will still be different. And I can guarantee that it will be more in-depth and broaden and more industrial experience that provided by the MFin Beijing curriculum.
Great, thank you. So there's also another question. You mentioned that there's 5 spots left, but what if my GMAT is too late? And I guess people are worried that they will not have enough time to submit their application or complete their application. Eileen, can you just address that question as well?
Yes, of course. It is a little bit late compared to earlier of the year, of course. However, I do encourage you to start talking to your application advisor so your advisor can have a look of your overall profile to see if with GMAT that's good enough, or you might need to also provide CFA exam results to determine that if you can still catch the class of this year. Although we only have 5 seats left, we do encourage you to just speed up your application process. Yeah. So for GMAT, you can get your exam results as soon as possible right away. As soon as you get your result, talk to your advisor, and your advisor will give you some kind of timeline for the next step.
Great. I can see another question here. Can Canadian students apply for OSAP funding for this program? And it's kind of a 2-part question. So we'll cover the OSAP first.
For OSAP, yes, students are qualified to apply for OSAP if you are a Canadian PR or Canadian citizen. So that's the first question. And second question, undergrad GPA or GMAT are considered competitive. So it's kind of one question. However, for GMAT GPA, there's different requirements. Together, sometimes with CFA as well, they provide proof of your academic capability. So for GMAT, typically we would like to see our applicants to have above 3.0 out of 4.0 of GPA. However, if your first 2 years of university grades are not that strong, don't worry too much about that. Our advisor, Alina and Yuemi, they spend a lot of time to recalculate your GPA. We only look at your second half of university grades. So 3rd and 4th year are more important for admission. So for GMAT, it's better to have above 3.0. However, if you're very close but not there yet, for example 2.9, in this case you will need, most of the cases you will need both GMAT and CFA level 1 results to make your overall package look competitive. If your GPA is good enough, let's say it's 3.0, if you are taking GMAT, and we often advise our applicants to reach a 650 GMAT score to be competitive. Another thing I want to also point out is that GMAT, we don't only look at your overall GMAT. We also look at the courses you have taken during your university study. If, for example, your GMAT is not that strong because you took some courses like psychology or language course, those courses were not graded well. That's the reason your GMAT is not that strong, but your business related courses are very strong. Then we will also consider that in your academic records.
Great. So I'll give 1 more minute for the questions to be submitted. But again, just want to remind everyone who's in the session today that you can reach out to us either through our contact information or through the WeChat application group. So feel free to reach out whenever you have. If you have any outstanding questions, feel free to send them at MFin Beijing, at MFin China at queenspeed.ca or through WeChat. There's another question, Eileen, and I think there's also a very good question is, can students live on Renmin campus or off campus?
Yes, for students who are not Chinese citizens, they will be considered as international students at Renmin University. So they will be able to live on campus in Renmin University. However, for students who are Chinese citizens, they will not be able to live on campus because Renmin does really have very limited resources of accommodations on campus. However, throughout those years, we really found out our students, they really do not prefer to live on campus because of the campus, the quality they can provide over there, as well as because remember earlier, a lot of students are asking, can I work throughout the program? So students would prefer to live closer to their office if they're working, other than live close to the campus, because they'll need to go to their office 5 days a week, but only go to the class 2 days a week. Sometimes there is no classes on the weekend. However, we do provide a lot of support and resources to help you find accommodation in Beijing. And we also have a class WeChat group. So from there, you will get to know your peers, you will have a discussion and ask questions about others. Every year, we do have students living together in the same apartment in Beijing, and they can help each other, interact with each other throughout the program. Yeah.
Yes, I did want to mention about the apartment. We do have students who live together. They are attending classes together. So it's, I'm not sure if they're in the same team, but if they're in the same team, the team project is checklist. So they don't need to find a place where to do the teamwork. That would be great. That would be the ideal scenario, I think, for everyone. But yeah, I think we will start to wrapping up a little bit. So thank you for everyone to joining us today. Thank you, Eileen, for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know how busy you are. So thank you for joining us today. And I just want to wish everyone the best rest of the day and a great weekend. It seems here in Canada, we might have a really nice weather. So enjoy your summer, I guess, to everyone.
Bye, take care.